Another week has rolled around, so dear viewer, I invite you to join me on this autumnal day here in Staffordshire to stare once again into the abyss to meet some of the truly terrible people which we share the planet with. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to People Being Awful, part 55. And for regular viewers of this series, it should come as no shock that the first person we're going to meet is wearing massive glasses and has an unsightly septum piercing.
The fucking level that narcissists fucking trigger me, even gentle ones, is just, I fucking can't. To turn something that, some of the things being said, I just like so immediately, like, I'm pretty sure I fucking can't. I can feel it. There's an undercurrent of absolute fucking evil, disguised as altruism, disguised as empathy. It's performative. It's absolutely fucking terrifying. And the first thing that they hate when you stand up for yourself, I'm standing up for myself, and I can just see their eyes like twitch with how dare you, and then suddenly they're saying they didn't say a thing or they said a thing, and I'm switching a narrative around to suit my what story? I don't even have a story other than I thought I would.
There's a lot of projection going on there. Because in my opinion, people of her ilk are insufferable narcissists. They're rude, they're arrogant, they don't understand another person's point of view. In fact, I read an article just last week, but I can't remember where I read it, which heavily implied that people on the woke left are actually lacking in empathy. They are incapable of understanding that another person might think differently to them and still have a valid point. And she's physically shaking. Calm down, love. Take a minute before you start recording. The story itself, though, is somewhat lacking in narrative. I don't really know what's going on, but her comment that evil disguised as altruism or empathy, again, I think there's some projection in there. Because, and I don't know this, I'm just assuming it, that she'll be on the woke far left. When I see people wrapped in keffirs going out onto the streets screaming from the river to the sea, to me, that is evil masquerading as altruism. And her comment about how people's eyes change, and then she does the trademark woke stare. It got me wondering, has she just been conversing with herself in a mirror?
And you think you're better than me because you didn't vote for Trump? Yes. Yes, I do. I'm 100% better than you. I have a moral compass. I'm clearly more intelligent. I have not only media literacy, but just literacy.
The previous clip mentioned narcissists. I think we found one. Does she honestly, although I bet she doesn't go by she, it'll be they, them, does it honestly think it's superior to anyone who voted Republican? Read the fucking room. As for being intellectually superior, her appearance alone would suggest otherwise. That is someone with the emotional intelligence of a toddler, but the adult ability to use rather large words. Next up, we'll see a protest because they're very popular at the moment.
What's the windblower for?
Just for the fucking tear gas to blow it back at those motherfuckers. If you have a fucking blower, bring it up. Push them back. We will not do 1992 again with your fucking tanks. I was 12 then. I'm 44 now.
What's the windblower for?
I admire the ingenuity of having a leaf blower to disperse tear gas. However, I fear our chunky new friend may have made a fatal error, because although a leaf blower will work against a gas, it won't be as effective against tasers or bullets. That being said, I don't really understand the context of the protest. As a Brit, I don't know what went on in the USA with taxes in 1992. When I googled it, all I could find was that taxes were raised to pay for education. Also, as a Brit, and with no offence to my friends over in the New World, whenever Americans complain about taxes, guys, you have no idea what a government can do to you if they really want to. And I noted the placard that read ICE Gestapo. My American friends, is that the thing now for the woke far left in your country? Just moaning about the ICE raids? Because over here in the UK, the chant is either Nazi scum off our streets or free Palestine, with no hint of irony. They haven't made the link that both the Nazis and the Palestinians want the complete eradication of the Jews.
He's in hospice, don't you see, don't you see, swelling in his ankles, bruising on his hands, matter of time, matter of time.
Oh, we're back to Trump derangement syndrome. Back to openly waiting for the president to die. Now, for people who are all about inclusivity and compassion, that's not very nice. As for time running out, well, that applies to all of us.
I just realized that when we do all get that big, beautiful obituary, he's going to get what he always wanted. A worldwide celebration in his name that everyone's happy about. So come on, man. You want that worldwide celebration in your name everyone's happy about? We want the big, beautiful obituary.
More of the same, but this time with a lack of dentistry, a shit haircut, and a total lack of camera control. And I've said this before, I'm not that big a fan of Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump 2.0 is way more normal than in his first term. But given the choices presented to the electorate, the former colonials in the previous election, I think they made the right choice. So far we've just seen women. Next up, let's see a man pretending to be a woman.
I'm walking out of the women's locker room. I use the women's locker room when I go to the gym, obviously. And this woman just looks at me as I'm walking out, and she gives me a really dirty look. So I give her a dirty look back. I'm literally because I was just I have gotten to a point in my transness that I kind of don't take disrespect from other people, from other women. And then the manager is hovering over me, and she's standing there for a second. I'm like, oh my God, what is she about to say? And she looks at me and she's like, women have been complaining that you've been using that there's been a male in the female locker room. And I was literally damn, I literally do nothing and this happens. And I feel cis women don't understand that I can't go into the men's room because I am not seen as a man in there. They will try to do things to me either sexually or aggressively, and that's just a reality. So I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Transphobia, and then opens with, I'm walking out of the women's locker room. Where you shouldn't be, because you're a man. That's why you got the dirty look, you fucking halfwit. And I would never try and speak on behalf of women, but I imagine that many of the fairer sex don't want to share their female-only spaces with men, no matter how they are dressed, because they may be there believing they're women, whereas in fact we know they're mostly just cross-dressing perverts. And he doesn't take disrespect, but he's openly disrespecting every woman who wants to use that changing room. And he can't use the men's locker room because people may be aggressive or sexually aggressive towards him. Which is exactly what he's doing. What a fucking weirdo. Anyway, for the final part of this video, I'm using my right to freedom of speech under Article 10 of the Human Rights Act 1998, I believe. And this is an opinion piece. I'm not stating anything as fact. We've seen people being awful. Now let's see someone who, in my opinion, so not a fact, is openly lying.
Free speech today.
Well, free speech is very important. I don't know if you're referring to any place in particular. Perhaps they are, but
we've had free speech for a very, very long time here, so we're very proud of that.
We've got freedom of speech, according to Keith Stalin. I would disagree, as would all the people who've been jailed for social media posts since that government came to power, or people who've had their door kicked in by the stormtroopers for something they've said online. And the reason I mention this now is that the Irish comedy writer Graham Linehan, this is the man who co-wrote Father Ted, he wrote The IT Crowd and co-wrote Black Books, 3 of the best sitcoms of all time. On Monday, when flying in from Arizona to Heathrow Airport in London, he was arrested by 5 armed police officers. That does seem overkill for a 57-year-old stand-up comedian and comedy writer. Now, Linehan is a controversial figure because he's very critical of the trans movement. And as I always say, I believe the vast majority of trans people are just trying to live their lives, and if that's you, I wish you the very best. But it's the hardliners, like the chap we met a few minutes ago, who can't ever stop pushing, who don't care about intimidating women and girls. Now, here in the UK, the Supreme Court has ruled that if you are born a man, you are not a woman. You cannot use female-only spaces. Linehan was arrested and ended up in hospital after having a panic attack for 3 tweets he posted back in April. So this is one of the tweets. I'm going to read it out. Again, these are not my words, I am just quoting. If a trans-identified male is in a female-only space, he is committing a violent, abusive act, make a scene, call the cops, and if all else fails, punch him in the balls. Apparently, that was inciting violence. Linehan is a comedy writer. It's a joke. The start of it, cause a scene, call the cops. Yes, those are rational actions, but then at the end, punch him in the balls. It's a joke playing on that the trans woman is still a fucking man. So I want to make clear, I don't blame the uniformed officers who turned up. They were just following orders. They probably didn't need the submachine guns, but oh well. Who I'm saying is being awful there is whichever higher up has been liaising with fucking human rights lawyers like our illustrious leader Keir Starmer, who thought that was an appropriate response. That someone has made a joke online, let's send in 5 armed coppers. And the TV shows I mentioned, Father Ted, the IT Crowd, the British version, not the American version, and Black Books. If you haven't seen those sitcoms, you are missing out. They're 3 of the greatest sitcoms of all time. Anyway, weren't those people ghastly? That's the end of this video. However, we've been watching people being awful. I'd like to end by mentioning someone who's awesome. 11 years ago today, Mrs. Disgruntled became Mrs. Disgruntled. Happy anniversary, you mad little Irish sod. So that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you could leave a like, a comment or share the video, that really helps the algorithm. If you would like to support me in making these videos, there are links in the description to buy me a coffee and to my Patreon. And as ever, thanks for watching. So in the previous clip, there was the mention of narcissist, fuck it. So back to Trump derangement syndrome. And for all the sufferers of that particular problem, you're letting Donald Trump live rent-free in your own head. And fucking next line. So more of the same, but this time with a shit haircut, poor dentistry and the usual woke camera control. Transphobia, and then opens with, I'm coming out of the women's locker room. The lack of self-awareness there is fuck it. Oh, we've had free speech in this country for a long time. Exterminate! Exterminate. And, well, good, it's fucking raining again.